Record. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, welcome Dr. Tasnuva to this meeting. I'm really happy that you can join us today. First, I would like to ask, I've been following you for a while and we had, continuous chats. I know you are very specifically interested in autism and the healing journey because of your own experience. Can you please start sharing personal experience? Thank you.
Okay, so my assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you, Mona, for giving me the floor and the opportunity to share a lot of my story, as well as to give some hope to those who are special needs parent and those who are being told that this is a disability and our children are supposed to be like this for the rest of the life, because I believe in this term, or I rather accept it in this way, that your child has autism is fine, but he or she does not need to be autistic. I do not ever use the term autistic. There's a reason for that. And the reason being, for me, and also for in a global way, the term itself sounds like a label, right? Like your child is some way disabled, which needs extra help, or people look at your kid in a like looking down way, right? So for me, I do not use that term. Apart from that, what happened with me was my middleborn. He was on the spectrum. He is on the spectrum. He was having extreme trouble with his regular life. Okay, he was totally nonverbal. He was very hyperactive. He was extremely self-harming. He would knock his head and he would bang his head. He even broke his arm. And then it was very hard for me to understand his needs, because he was, just like, I use the phrase living doll. Okay, like he would just sit in front of something or maybe playing with his toys. Okay, so when he started getting regressed and I was waiting for his officialization and stuff like that, what happens in the Western world. So I have been waiting and waiting and waiting and nothing was happening. And I was like, to hell with the authority and waiting for you guys, because it's not working for me. Although I came to Canada as an immigrant, thinking that Canadian healthcare system is 1,000 times better than what in my country is. I'm from Bangladesh, by the way. Okay, so I was like, let's just go over there and then they will help our kid. And they were not helping. So I took matters in my own hand, so to speak. And then I started my own research. What I found was that there wasn't much things apart from therapies like speech therapy or occupational therapy and things like that. And for that also, you will need funding, you will need grants, you will need official diagnosis, and then somebody of the authority saying that your child needs those things. That's when you will be able to. Otherwise, it will be extremely expensive if I wanted to do it on my own, right? And I was a single income family. So I started doing my own research. And then since I'm a pharmacist, I did my PhD in natural medicine. So I had some sort of educational background as well as research background as a scientist. So I used all of those knowledge and everything. And then I found an Ayurvedic practitioner to get the basic starting, because I did not trust modern medicine that much, because as a pharmacist, I know the side effects and everything. Okay. And since I know my kid has neurodevelopmental delay, so I'm sure all the doctors that I go, they would definitely prescribe me some sort of neuroactive agent, right? Maybe they will ask me to give sleeping pill for him. Well, because he was given sleeping pill actually. Okay. So he was given sleeping pills. So I know those things are not going to help him in any way. In fact, they will degrade whatever was going through with him, improvement and whatnot. So I started thinking about the diet, because I usually follow with him. I used to follow pretty good health diets. Okay. So from there, we started doing some other stuff, grain-free, and then the detoxification. And slowly things started improving. And whatever I learned through him, I started helping others. And that's how my Autism Success Academy started. And then it's been like 2 years. We are helping moms to be their, the best parent, to be able to support the child in the way the child needs, which is through a good diet, which is through proper detoxification, which is through a lot of lifestyle support, because we know our kids are gadget addicted, right? Long terms of screen time and whatnot. Maybe there is less outside play, less family environment, and everything in between. So I created this container in which a mom finds the best support that she needs to be able to help her child, because everywhere in the world, if you are a special needs mom, the doctors, the therapists, and everybody that you go, they will only talk about your child. Nobody will actually talk about you. Nobody will actually, when you tell the doctor that, my child is not being able to sleep, so I haven't actually had slept in like 4, 5, 6, however years that your child is, right? And then the doctor would say like, just persevere, accept the child that he is, accept his struggles, he will be like this. So you are a mom, you should sacrifice. So I was like, well, I can sacrifice, but I'm a human. I have battery which needs recharging. If I'm not sleeping, if I'm not eating, if I'm not taking care of myself, if I am like a super frazzled person, what help am I to my son? Right. And I'm sure if I ask you this question, everybody and anybody who's listening to this will agree to this. Whenever you are sick and you need that special time, like alone time or quiet time, that is the time when your kids actually disturb you more. They want you more. They are like stuck to you like super glue, right? Yeah. But when you are actually healthy, you are happy, you are somehow able to go through stuff, your kids are actually fine on their own. Have you been through that? Do you agree with me?
Yes, absolutely. It's like even if you talk on the phone, that's the time that like start disturbing. Like, you were quiet 5 minutes ago. Why?
Exactly. Do you know why that happens?
No,
that happens
actually, I could never explain that. Are they jealous and then it's somewhere else?
Okay, so what happens is we do not, in a modern lifestyle, we do not actually think through these things too much. The fact that we are all energetic beings, okay? We all vibrate at certain frequencies. All the emotions have their own frequency, okay? Like anger, frustration, fear, happiness, love, all have frequencies. So when you are vibrating low, anger, frustration, tired, sad, upset, depressed, so when you are vibrating in low frequency, your child who is grounded through you until the age of like 12 or more, sometimes they say like 16 years, sometimes they say 18 years. What we know mostly is like at least for 7 years, your child is super glued to you, okay? Your child sees the world through you, understands the world through perceiving through you, okay? So when you are vibrating in low frequency, your child is also vibrating in low frequency, and he does not know how to spank himself out of it. So he needs mommy to feel grounded. And how because you are making him anxious. Exactly. Because they ground in the world through us, which is why when you are happy, when you are healthy, when you are focused, when you are calm, that's when your child is actually more able to stay calm, stay healthy, and things like that. So one of the most important things Exactly. It goes through like a loop. So what I do, alhamdulillah, is I break that loop. I teach the mom that you are the root, okay? You need to be that tree which is solid, because through you all the small kids or whatever, if you have one child or more, all your kids are actually around you. They are grounding through you with this world. So when you are stable, when you are less anxious, when you are calm, that's when you can be able to help your child, okay? Let's say you want to work with a picky eater. You cannot make your child eat. If you are working with a picky eater, you cannot make your child eat by forcing him. Okay, so all the mom of the picky eaters will accept this. We cannot, it's a struggle, let's say, in which we actually are the one who are on the crying end, like, oh my God, I cooked everything and then he's not eating. What is he going to eat?
What I used to do, I used to prepare the food and then I used to be very anxious, like, oh, you need to eat it. And then my child used to pick it up and I was like, no. So then I started asking my husband, like, you feed him, he'll eat more from you.
So if you are working through a picky eater and then you are forcing and cajoling, that's not going to work. Okay, you need to be calm and grounded. The way that you were able to feed your child through your husband, because your husband was not anxious like you were. Okay, you were the anxious one. That's the low frequency that will make your child anxious, and then like, what is this battle going on? Because picky eating is actually a need for the child to control something that he can control. Okay, so our kid does not understand the world that well, and they do not know how to communicate, okay, or feel like they are in control. And rejecting food is the only way they can feel being in control. Okay, which is why when you are forcing him to do something or her, then he or she will be like, no, that's my point to choose. You are choosing everything for me. That's something that I will choose, okay, because it's going inside of me. So that's how we actually work, by first grounding the mom, by giving the mom all the tools and stuff that they need to be able to calm down first, have a good balance in her physical and mental well-being, and then we start working on the kid. Because if you are very low on energy and I give you a roadmap of 1,000 steps, 10,000 steps, you won't be able to do it, right? So which is why my first my first step that I do, and I also ask others who want to work through their own, is to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you are calm, that you are connected with yourself and with the world. You're not just going through life as survival mode, because if you are in survival mode, you cannot thrive. Survival energy and thriving energy are two very different. They're not on the same plane. Okay, if you are surviving, you cannot thrive. You'll always be in the survival mode, and then time will go on, one day after another, and the whole thing becomes like a huge monotonous journey that's not giving you anything, and you just give up. Okay, because you have been trying a long time. You cannot change the diet, you cannot improve anything, the doctor is not saying anything to you. If your child does have a little breakthrough, right, and you share it with the doctor or with the therapist, they will say like, it's just a phase, it's nothing important. Usually that's what my clients tell me, that's what my audience is also accepting and reiterating, that yes, when they're sharing some sort of breakthrough with their therapist or the doctors, they're not celebrating those wins. Actually, you know what? Because they want you to be hooked on the system of therapies, and it's like a year after year after year thing. Because if you feel empowered, if you feel empowered that your child is making progress, you might not want to go back. You might feel like you have done a good job, let's just try on your own, let's just save up some money and whatnot, and then just stay at home or whatnot. So I have had many, if you are in my group and if you watch some of our client testimonials, you will see many of them saying this, because they have been working through therapies for years and they did not see much improvement. And that's when they come to me, they change the diet, the lifestyle, do some detoxification and, follow the whole protocol and whatnot. And then they start seeing shifts in such big amounts, which they haven't been able to see before, even with 4 or 5 years of therapies and things like that they were following. Okay, so that the more I'm working with more people, the more I'm learning that, let me be very honest, because I feel my time is ripe and it's time to really speak out what I think I'm seeing around us. Okay, because when we girls, we are from Muslim families, and we are always taught to be nice, to not speak bad, and to be the goody two shoes, and we are accustomed to being like that. So recently what I've been doing is all the things that I'm seeing and learning, and the results that we are seeing one after another, the notion that every child on the spectrum is different, so something that works for child number A will not work for you, so you need to go to the doctor, you need to go to the therapy, that all BS.
Why is that?
Yeah, because first of all, even if your child has autism, maybe level 1, level 2, level 3, but still, first and foremost, he's a human being. His anatomy is same as another child of that age's anatomy. His physiological, the amount of chemicals, the amount of neurological things, enzymes and things like that is same for all human beings. Okay. So if your child is not eating, the reason is quite same for all the kids. Okay. So, which is why when we go through the diet changes, every single time we see results, every single time, alhamdulillah, every single time. Okay, why? Because the human foundation is just same. Your child, his behavior might be different from my child, but ultimately the root is same. The root is the gut is connected to the brain. And then when there is an imbalance in the gut, there are lots of toxins roaming around the blood, in the brain, and then the brain cannot develop properly. Autism is a disorder. It's not a disease that we are trying to cure. It's not like that. So autism is a disorder, which is actually a neurodevelopmental delay. Okay, which means your child's neurological development is delayed. It's not stopped, it's delayed. So if we remove the obstacles that are stopping your child's development, then your child's brain can develop very fine. No problem with that. Okay, because the fact that our neurons are neuroplastic in nature means it's plastic. If it's crumpled, you can make it straight. From the age of 0 to 7, a lot of neurological development actually happens in the body of the child. Okay, so just because, and then some parents actually try gluten-free, they might see some result, and then the result stops, because gluten-free is not the end of all. It's just the starting of what your child should not be eating. Okay, the main problem is not gluten. The main problem is actually starchy food that are processed, food that are made by companies, food that are high in grains. Okay, those are the food that are not actually should be consumed by humans, because we do not have those enzymes to break those food. So you might ask, like, rice, bread, wheat are food for all throughout the world. How come lots of children are neurotypical and my children is neurodiverse? So the reason of your child's neurodiversity is not because of the grain. Your child's neurodiversity happened because of other reasons, and because of the neurodiversity, there is the connection that I said, the gut and the brain. The neurodiverse people, they lack in certain important enzymes and chemicals that is needed for digesting those food that neurotypicals can pretty much enjoy and digest properly. It's just okay. So let's say if your child is allergic to something, okay, that means your child's body does not know how to digest. Whenever your child is eating that food, the body's immune system attacks it, thinking that it's a pathogen. It's a bad thing. Okay, that's why the body starts fighting through it. So what that happens is, when you know something is not right for your child, you just avoid it. Okay, and then see for yourself. You don't have to accept me. Just see for yourself. Try going grain-free for a few weeks or a month. You will see tremendous amount of differences. that it will blow your mind off. Okay, because your child's, how to say this, if your child wants to walk but his both his legs are tied together, and then you are taking him to the therapy, and the therapy people are saying that you have to learn to walk with your feet tied together. Okay, let me give you a toy. Okay, so let me give you something that, you know, what's that word they use, reiterating the same thing. I forgot the word. There's a term that the therapy people they use. Okay, the therapists they use is to reinforce. So you want to make your child do something, so you reinforce by giving them some sort of like a treat or
a reward system.
Like a reward system. Okay, so if you are rewarding or bribing a monkey or even harming the monkey, okay, he will ultimately learn to jump. But does that mean he's learning to jump naturally?
Yeah.
No. Which is why when you stop therapy, you will see everything going down. There's regression. Why? Because he was just going through a process. When the process stops, all the improvement that you think you saw stops, because those were not real improvement. Okay. On the other hand, real improvement comes when you help your child's brain and body to function properly, to be able to detoxify, and then your child's brain will, mashallah and inshallah, start getting balanced, start getting developed, and slowly your child will learn everything, mashallah, that that a regular child usually learns of his age. Okay, for example, if my son, I would say, we did not give any therapy for him, no OT, no behavior, no speech therapy, but alhamdulillah, he knows how to talk. Yes, he does not talk with everybody, and that's okay, because there are introvert people, there are extrovert people. Neurodiverse people themselves are pretty shy. I know that myself, because I am one neurodiverse as well. So I that's their personality. Okay, if your child is shy, is not feeling comfortable in 100 people, that's fine. Okay, that does not mean your child is disabled. That just means your child is not preferring. But if your child cannot speak, cannot focus, cannot have social skills, cannot play, so the life of that child is very limited. Okay, he cannot have much of, yes, we have Einstein's, but Einstein was not nonverbal, if I'm not mistaken. He was not self-harming, level 3, the really hard autistic people that we see or we want to work through, helping them. Because if their body is always an attack mode, like the brain is trying to protect itself from all the stuff that the child is eating, going through and whatnot, his brain cannot perceive the worlds in the lens that it needs to be perceived. Okay. And I truly believe in this notion